We'll unmute. Okay. We are starting, ladies and gentlemen, our citation hearings for January 29th, 2025. 5 items on today's agenda. And we have one attendee in the audience. We have nobody present at the moment. So how would you like to proceed there?
Let's just get started and we'll check with the audience person and give that person priority if they want.
I actually have a heads up on the individual in the queue here. She's here for actually the first 2 items.
Oh, well.
And she may be interested in more, but let me get Diane. I'm gonna just patch you in for 1 second, okay? Let's see. Hi, Diane. How you doing? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you. Yep. Good. Thank you for
Okay,
confirming.
I can hardly hear you guys. I'll have to fix that in a second.
Okay.
So this just actually, the Zoom just opened up at 3:11. So, has the meeting already started and the
Nope.
Zoom didn't connect, or?
Nope, it has not started. We had a little delay. Hearing officer was a couple of minutes late, and
Okay.
I may not be. I mean, I was on time. And also we had to get my share screen was being a little finicky. So I didn't want to start that and have it to.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, because sometimes I notice that meetings have started and the Zoom hasn't kicked in yet.
No, I picked up on the technical difficulty prior to crashing and burning.
So I'm not sure what the procedure is here. Is the property owner, are you going to review this case and the property owner is going to speak to it, or?
Well, if he comes on in, while we're hearing it, he does have the opportunity to speak, but seeing as he's the first item on the agenda.
Oh, he's not there? I'm sorry.
Correct, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll have you just hang out for a second there, Diane, and then we'll go through our procedure here, and then get everything moving.
I appreciate that, because I'd be very interested to understand what happens when someone actually doesn't show up for their hearing. I'm curious to hear that.
You'll get a first-hand look at it.
Thank you, John. And apologies, I completely just senior moment. I forget the hearing officer's name.
Counselor Udanda. Sure, Attorney Gary Oberst.
Obert, thank you. Sorry.
You got it. All right,
okay,
Dan.
I will
we'll get you back in a minute. All right, thank you. Okay. There we go. Okay. So you just want to go in order?
Yeah, just introduce this.
I did.
That this is the date and this is what you did all that? Where was I?
I don't know. Right there.
Okay. All right, good afternoon. I'm Attorney Gary Oberst. I'm the hearing officer for today. These cases have been cited for violating Norwalk zoning regulations. To my right, representing the city of Norwalk, is John Hidaki, the deputy zoning inspector. When I call a matter, people can either sit at the table, even if you're an interested party but not a defendant, or you can attend by Zoom or telephone. What happens is the city presents its findings, then everybody else will have an opportunity to be heard, and then we will try to reach a resolution. And failing reaching a resolution, I'll make a decision which may or may not be popular. If you have any questions, you can bring them to my attention when your matter is being heard. Okay, so we're going to start with the first case. Since we have someone here who's interested.
All right, you just got one more interested party in there, so
okay.
I'll go see. I'll go figure that.
Has anyone said they're coming or not coming that we can?
Just the last item there said they were not attending. That's going to be real quick, though.
Okay, so we haven't heard from
anybody else. Now, what I want to do, let me just go here real quick. We have Attorney Mark Grenier here in the building.
Okay, that's nice.
Attorney Grenier, how are you doing this afternoon?
Not too bad, just listening in, that's all.
Nothing in particular?
Nothing of interest.
Fantastic. If you do want to jump in, feel free, just raise your hand there on the icon.
Will do. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Counselor.
Okay, so we're sort of 65 and 28 Rowan, they're together somehow?
Correct. It is the same ownership. They are parcels side by side with the same violation.
Okay,
So I figure a little bit of a test of efficiency here.
okay, so let the record reflect it's 3:15 and the owners are not here.
Very good. So let's get to the. There we go. Okay. So, this is a brand new one.
Okay,
We have not heard this one before. The violation is for contractors' storage of equipment, vehicles, and materials. And so just to go over the very basics, we basically what this is a property which was used to be the Jimmy's Deli on Van Zant and Rowan Street there.
okay,
The property was sold, new owner demolished the building, so the deli is no longer there. And they did do that, they knocked it down. However, the equipment was left there without any active permits or basically anything. It was just left there by the current owner.
okay, so let me just,
Sure.
so you're gonna have the two properties, you're gonna find theoretically, one of them could cure the violation.
That is true. If they went to one property, that
Shoved everything into one or whatever.
right, and also a little piece of information I think is vital here is that in order to move ahead with any future development of the site, I will get into that in my brief presentation here. To do any development on the site that they're proposing, they would have to merge the lots anyway. They have not done that yet,
All right,
so,
they have a right to complain, so,
yes,
all right,
yes.
go on.
So, so it just going through both, both cover sheets here. We sent a notice of violation on, December 17th, to the owner of record. And in response to that, the owner met with me, to discuss, the violation and what's going on. He informed me that he would be making an application to redevelop the site to get permits. He submitted that application the next day on January 15th. However, and I have a copy of this correspondence, our principal planner who was handling the application sent an email, and it's in your packet there, sent an email to the property owner basically stating that the application was deficient and that that it would be possibly multiple public hearings in quite some time to get this project off the ground. So it's not like there'd be a permit issued next week and then they can start construction in a couple of weeks. And it'd be acceptable to have something there. It's not gonna happen for quite some time. So my presentation here. So here's the nature of the property as of September 2024. This was after demolition was completed of the building, Jimmy's Deli, I should say.
Mhm.
And on here, even in this aerial photo, which is the in-house aerial that the city uses, you can see an excavator on the upper center portion of the page. That is on the 28 Rowan side of the properties. And here's another small excavator and trailer here and two dumpsters. And has a pile of material, basically put all the pile of dirt and everything, pushed it to 65 Van Zandt side. So just as another, recent photo as well. This is actually just as of yesterday. So this is, 65 Van Zant. You have piles of dirt. You had masonry piles here. I have a blue excavator here. This one, it's, which property is it on? It's a good question. It probably straddles both boundaries. But this, again, this is 65 Van Zant. This is the view from Rowan Street, a larger excavator here closer to Rowan Street, two dumpsters, or containers, I should say. And then, so just to show, they did obtain a demolition permit from the building department. Nothing to do with us, but with the building department. And the building department closed out that demolition permit back in July. So even from July to that first photo in September, the equipment was being stored there. Lastly, I put in your packet as well, just as a reference material. We have a photo in there from a previous matter on the property. The new owner stored a boat improperly there. And that matter went in front of Attorney Maslin from, I believe the photo I have is from June 24th. And as you see in that photo, even in June, the equipment was there. That was part of the demo, but the equipment's been on the property for quite some time. So to bring it all together, the reason we sent the citation was after a discussion with our principal planner and my chief officer. Citations basically sent by just to have the owner, hey, you can't store this here. It's going to be a while before you get your permits. We do not want this turning into a permanent storage to contractor's yard. And so it has to be removed during the permitting process because there's no guarantee how long that'll go.
Did you talk about service?
Service, yeah, I can bring that back up. So we got notice of violation was sent on December 17th. And there was I believe we got our green card back on that as well. And then we also had constable service as well for that.
I don't see a green card.
Yeah, maybe, and
Like here.
could be mistaken. We do have constable bodies.
Alright, so okay, so we have service.
And the owner did respond to that service. He came in to our office on January 14th.
Alright, but he's not here today, but he's had notice.
He's had notice as well with the citation that was sent on the 22nd.
So. Where did I interrupt you?
No, actually, I'm pretty much,
Where are we?
well, pretty much, like I said, bring it all together would be that, the process for permitting will take some time because there's multiple
So
public
we're gonna
hearings.
get this removed in the meantime.
We want to get it removed while that's going on.
Alright,
It's
I
gonna
think
be,
we have somebody here who wants to be heard.
yes, I think we do. Let me, stop that screen share for a second. Okay. Diane, there you go. I think you're on.
Okay,
there you
good
go.
afternoon, and just for your record, Diane Cece, Olmsted Place. I'm representing the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association. And Attorney Oberst, first of all, why can't I see you? I'm only seeing my name up here now. Do I need to change something?
Yeah, you may have to.
Oh, there we go. Okay, thank you.
I say my video is working, I think. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I guess when I'm speaking, I'm losing the image of you guys.
Oh, okay.
There's a message.
Can you fix that or?
Well, I'm trying, let's see. I'm checking my video settings real quick here. We're on there.
Yeah, I apologize. I can't be over there because I work, so I'm actually bumping into work to be able to address you. I'd like to be able to see you, but in the interest of time, I'll get started. I hope you could fix that, John, because I'm talking to myself here.
No, I'm sorry to hear that, Diane.
I'd say, well, I'll
everything seems-
answer myself then too, and I'll.
Okay, okay, that's
probably help.
fine.
Attorney Oberst, anyway, with all due respect to Mr. Hayducky, who I'm sure is trying to do the best job he can under trying circumstances with backlogs and everything. It's a bit of a misrepresentation to say that this is something that's brand new. The violations have been in place between the boat and or the construction equipment since September of 2023. And in terms of when you're noting that complaints were filed, it goes all the way back to November of 2023, when a hesitant resident who was afraid of possible repercussions and from the property owner approached ENNA, and we began the process of filing the complaint on this. So this, for all intent and purposes, goes back to the fall of 2023. And then there's been a number of or months, I can say, of relatively inaction on the part of the city in terms of remedying the situation with the boat, which ultimately got resolved. I'd like to speak to that matter, but I realize it's not on your docket today. But the one that's before you today with the construction equipment goes back as far as December of 2023. And what Mr. Hayducky doesn't have there, but I hope it's in your file and you can review it, because we're requesting that that you demand immediate removal of the equipment and the site get cleared up, and that you start, if you haven't already started fines, that they start tomorrow. In February of 2024, so now we're coming up on a year, February 6th of 2024, the owner told Mr. Hayducky that he anticipated demolition in, quote, a few weeks, despite the fact that he hadn't filed an intent to demolish, and there was no posting, there was no legal posting, no placard, and nothing before Bill Ireland for a permit application. On March 8th of 2024, there was still no demolition permit requested. And then finally, sometime, I guess, in April, they had applied for demolition. And in May of last year, the demolition was substantially complete. So the demolition, which is the excuse that we got of why the construction equipment was there, was due to a pending demolition, now is going on more than 6 months of having the equipment sit there. On May 20th is the first time that Principal Planner Brian Baker confirmed to Mr. Hayducky that there was no zoning application. And so nothing had been received by their office, despite this applicant telling Mr. Hayducky that he was in the process of filing a zoning application, which would lead someone to believe that maybe the construction equipment was short-term. However, everyone there at City Hall should know that the applications can take several months to go through. And then finally, on July 11th of 2024 was when the building department issued whatever their final inspection was for the completion of the demolition. So this equipment has, if what you want to use is the excuse of someone who had a pending demolition, the demolition was deemed complete by the city way back in July. And here we are today, not only with the original equipment with the excavator, but more equipment. And the property itself is in a worse condition in terms of the upkeep, the puddles and pooling water, the construction debris, the dumpster containers. I have no doubt that there's probably rodent activity over there at this point as well, but I don't have any proof of that. So then fast forward in trying to work with the citation staff to get this remedied and get some fines going. Basically, nothing has happened until finally this past December, which is over a year from the original November 2023 complaints. Nothing was done, no fines were issued, no citation, no service. And on December 12th, we then made another request to start fining this property owner immediately. And then all of a sudden, then on January 14th, then he starts showing up with some rendition of an application, which Brian Baker can confirm is incomplete. And at this point, we don't even know if it meets the zoning regulations. I'd like to say something else too. All right, and I still can't see you guys. It's a little uncomfortable. Anyway, to Attorney Oberst, this is not a case of like a simple homeowner like myself who doesn't understand the regulations, wasn't aware of something that might be against the regulation having to do with having some equipment on my property, or excavation, or pending construction. The property owner, as Mr. Hayducky can tell you, is a professional renovation, construction, and developer. He owns a business that does essentially nothing but this. So the very nature of his business would indicate to you that he has to be very well aware of these regulations and what he can and can't do. I don't mean to be sarcastic, but I highly doubt that on the properties he works on in Darien and New Canaan, that he's allowed to do this. And in the past, we've recommended to staff at least get him to get this equipment out of there and let him store it on his own property in Norwalk, where he lives, where he has a large residential property, a very long driveway, and let him stash it in the back over there. This is not an issue of someone who doesn't know, or doesn't know the regulations. He just simply doesn't want to pay to have this equipment someplace else. And I'm sure his neighbors at his house wouldn't appreciate looking at it either. So he can't plead ignorance on this thing at this point.
Participants over there, right on the bottom,
Right here.
to the left.
But that's what this one
That's
is.
what that is.
Yeah.
Doesn't show, so she
Yeah.
can't see.
Has he even bothered to arrive to his hearing?
Nope, he is not here, not here. It's not sure.
Okay, in the interest of respecting your time, I mean, I can go on. And attorney, Mr. Hayducky has what I'm sure looks like reams of emails back and forth now regarding this matter, and the inaction. And so at this point, the East Norwalk Neighborhood Association is requesting that if fines haven't started, that they start immediately, and that you somehow compel him to get that equipment out of there. And if it comes through you or Bill Ireland or another department, to have that property cleaned up in terms of the condition with the piles of dirt that aren't covered, runoff, puddles, possible rodent activity. I feel like we're never going to warm up here in Norwalk, but honestly, spring is coming. And when we have all of that standing water, we're also going to have a bit of a mosquito issue and all kinds of other problems starting. So I'm happy to answer any questions. I went as quickly as I can. There's a number of dates and activities I skipped over, but again, Mr. Hayducky can provide them to you. My only hope would be that if you do need to consider all the rest of that documentation and communication, that there's not some continuance on this thing. That ship has sailed, with all due respect. Okay, we're going back to September of 2023. I thank you for your time.
No problem, Diane.
So my records, my notes show the complaint was received in December.
That was that follow-up that Diane mentioned. The initial complaint went out that we got, was correct. That was the initial complaint was back in, 2023, the November of 2023. That was for the, property with the equipment and the boat that was there. And then after sending a notice, we did go, the owner came in and that's when he stated, we told him the boat can't be there, and he gave the line that in February, he would have an application in a few weeks, as Diane stated.
Right, but I'm trying to follow, why am I As far as I'm concerned, all I'm seeing is December was the start.
No, well, that was when we got filed, as Diane said, when there was the inquiry about,
I can only work from when we're getting notice. So if somebody told you a year ago, but we didn't do anything, I'm sitting here with a 1-month-old complaint.
right, that's when we send those more probably, because the original notice from that, like, with that, those pictures in their packet
My
from earlier,
authority starts with December 12th.
that is where you would begin your.
Okay, so I got a 1-month-old complaint. Okay, the next day you went out and inspected it. 2 days later, you sent a violation. You met with the owner. January 15th. We cited him on January 22nd. And now we've got a violation.
Correct,
And the
we
same
have, which
thing
I would say we
happened-
do have a violation. Yes.
Okay, so I got a violation.
We have a violation,
Got a
yes.
1-month-old violation. That's what I got here. It doesn't matter how long it's.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm not clear on why you're still indicating this is a 1-month-old violation.
Because I have to go by what my authority gives me, and I only get authority from the time of the citation. And the citation was sent in December, so as far as I'm concerned, it's a 1-month-old. Doesn't matter how long it's been going on. That's all I have authority to deal with. So that's what we're gonna deal with. So we're gonna, violation is found. Violation is found. And where's your,
On the other side, or you have the memo there on the, right there.
bounds, okay, violation found. No fine at this time. Continue, so when do you want to continue this to? What do you expect?
As soon as possible, I would like to, what this says that, you know, he has a threat, even if we, the next hearings, several thousands of dollars worth of fines, if he does keep, so that's why I would say,
Well, the
let's,
longer you take, the bigger I have.
well, that's very,
Bigger fine I have.
$150 a day, that's true.
So I gotta get at least a month, so there's some money in here.
So we have hearings scheduled all throughout February and March.
If I don't have a month, I've got nothing. I'm not gonna, finding $150 isn't gonna do anything.
Right, no,
And
right,
start
right,
the whole
no,
thing all over.
right, that's true. So I think we have a February 12th hearing, which is,
Not enough time.
it's, yeah, they probably won't ramp up enough there. We do not have, we have a tentative schedule for March, oops, 19. We can do.
That's 2 months, that's good.
That would be, I can get a number right now.
Go to March 19th.
So listen, that's March 19th, we'll do here, I gotta just get my calculator here real quick.
Okay, I put it in the calendar.
All right, so we'll do that and
Into 3/19/25,
it'll be,
need notice.
that'd be almost $10,000 fine.
Okay, now we got
Close to it.
something that can make something happen.
That would
So you
be,
expect to hear from him in between?
well, hate to say, it's in his court, we'll keep going back, I have his email, I'm gonna send this to him. I'm gonna explain that it has to be gone, if it's not, I'll be going back regularly, obviously. That, I'll make, see if it is cleaned up, but, like I said, ball's in his court.
Okay. All right, so the process is underway now, finally, and we will get on top of this and make it happen. That's all I can do today.
I'll give, in the email I sent, I'll give what the state allowed potential fine would be if it's not, potentially if it's,
Put that in the email to him and then I'll know what he's facing. So, what do we say, 3/19?
319.
I need notice. Okay,
Put that in the mail. I got a note for the home today.
all right, what's the next matter?
If we go in order, we go on to 14 Fort Point Street.
Is there anyone nobody's coming for anything, right?
No, unless anybody that wants to be here for,
Anybody wants to hear anything special?
Yeah,
Well,
they can
I'll
raise
bring
their
it up next. No, I'll just go in order.
yeah, I mean, I do have the panel up here, like, if somebody raises their hand, I will be more than happy to, oh, there we go, Diane, there we go. I think you're good to go. You're good to go.
I will. I can't tell you how disappointed I am in what I just witnessed there, but moving on to 14 Point. Are you, are you saying that the owner has also not appeared for this one as well?
That is correct. We have, nobody in the room at the moment, besides, Attorney Overs to myself.
Is there any fine for them not appearing?
Unfortunately, no, it's their, state statute just says it's their option to show up. There's no. They don't show up.
Thank you.
If they don't show up, they can't counter anything I say.
They have a right they have a right to a hearing, notice, and a right to be heard. They don't have to be heard. Except in criminal court, they have to show up. Here, they don't have to.
Thank you.
Well, we got the packet out here, 14 Fort Point. Here we go. This is one here, first time in front of you. I will,
Another new one for me, even though.
let me get the share screen. Okay. Share screen is going really slow, so I do apologize for that for some reason. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let me know when you're ready there.
Here. This is this guy too.
Hmm?
Everybody's mad at somebody.
Well, this
One's, all right, this is,
yeah.
and this is really more. This is a safety thing more so than just.
Yeah, this is a fire marshal referral,
Okay,
so
so
we don't, you get a couple of those from time to time.
Yep, I have to deal with that, all right.
Yep. Again, property address is 14 Fort Point. Violation is a illegal apartment in the basement, as an added nugget here. It's deemed unsafe by the fire marshal and the health department. I didn't put that on the opening sheet, but both agencies deemed it unsafe. I have a copy of those
Okay,
postings in your packet there. So the breakdown here is November 15th, fire inspector forwarded illegal and unsafe basement apartment at subject property to planning and zoning for enforcement in order to totally remove the unit. The fire marshal, from his information to me, is that this property has been under their violation for quite some years, or many, many years. And the owner apparently just keeps putting it back, puts tenants back in. So they sent it to us because they just have jurisdiction to remove people, to physically remove the occupants. We have the jurisdiction to actually remove the physical presence of the unit. November 27th, we sent a notice of violation to the owner. I had in between the initial, November 14th, November 15th inspection and the notice. I had a couple of meetings with the fire marshal and health department, just to make sure that's the action they want us to take.
mhm.
December 3rd, because we didn't get any response from the 27th notice of violation. We gave the matter to Constable Bondi for service. And he was finally able to track down the owner on the 13th of December. Another thing to keep in mind, the fire marshal was able to get in and the health department with access from the tenant.
Oh, geez, okay.
So that's how they were able to access, because the tenant, I'm guessing the tenant is the one that called them.
Okay.
So then, on January 2nd, the owner stopped in, to my office, but I was out. So on January 6th, I called the owner, to discuss, the matter of resolution. Agreed to meet, on January 15th. However, on January 15th, the owner did not show up. Got stood up. There was a shred of good news, between the, 2nd and the 15th. Got confirmation from the fire marshal that the basement was vacated, so there's no, at least at that time, there was nobody in there.
That's the only place there are other tenants, there are other people, or just the basement?
Just the basement had to be removed, the tenants had to be removed.
Theoretically cured his violation from that point of view.
Well, yes, and the problem is, he can't finish the basement from a fire marshal, health department point of view because of egress and for,
Okay, but we're
other things.
not risking somebody getting burned to death.
Right now it is vacating.
Okay.
The basement is vacated.
Right.
So like I said, on January 15th, the owner did not show.
Mhm.
So I sent, a citation, after again following up with the fire marshal. Other than vacating, he had taken no other measures with the fire marshal.
Okay.
So, I did, however, receive after the making of this, note, that the, fire marshal has a follow-up. I did a follow-up, my apologies. Did a follow-up on January 17th. And found nothing had been done. Just the occupants had left.
Mhm.
And he's going back to fire marshal on the 30th. So he's been in contact with the owner to get access, but the owner has not come to our office.
Okay.
That's what that means. To me, that's what that means, that he's dealing with the fire marshal, but he's refusing to deal with us. So, just really quick, just to show, it's in your packet as well there, and for, the folks at home. So this is some pictures that were sent from the fire marshal from their inspections. So this is the fire marshal posting unfit at the back door, going down to the basement. There's a close-up here. And so here's some pictures that he sent over. So you got bedroom, another bedroom, two bed, what you can tell about these, no windows, no second means of egress. That's why he is, very upset with this. Different angle of the first, bedroom. And here's a little kitchenette area. Well, this is what makes it, illegal per zoning. And there's no ventilation for any of this. There's no windows. It's all subterranean basement. Bathroom, they've been installed, no permits. This is from the fire marshal, this is the only real window there for, secondary egress. And it's not even, A, it's not in the bedrooms, B, it's not in the living space, and C, it's way small.
Outside of that.
Hmm?
Outside of that.
Oh, that's all right, yeah. And, the fire marshal said that this wall right here on the right, this is what separates the, living space from the rest of the unfinished basement.
Okay.
And this is the, health department's notice unfit for posting, unfit for, occupancy post. So the property owner, I feel, I'm sure the fire marshal feels as well. I gave you a copy of his emails in your packet there, and he is none too happy. That, yes, while there's no, threat to life here, he's obviously reoccupied these in the past. And we're trying to get these not to be reoccupied again. So I would,
But we can ask that it be dismantled altogether.
that's what we're doing.
Unoccupiable,
Right, correct. It cannot be finished, cannot be habitated, or being made to be
Whatever the
habitated,
words
right? And so that's why I want, uphold this and, this is one of those where I would like to continue it to even February. It's not a lot, but we can issue a fine
start over.
and send a message for this that
Give me the, did you put the service
services in your packet there. Yes, service
put
was
on the screen?
surely. I just took it down.
Says on the record.
We'll bring this up here. Where is the point? Okay, stop share, screen share. Oop. So it was constable service on the 13th, for the notice, December 13th. And, citation to the owner on, the 22nd with constable service there as well.
Okay. Apartment, let me just see, must be made inhabitable.
Not have, non-habitable. That's it.
Okay. Non-habitable.
Try to think with the building department.
I think when we see this again, we'll know what we meant.
Mhm.
Okay. And once again, I don't have any, it's brand new to me.
It is, this one, the fire marshal admittedly has had previous experience here, but this was the first time we're ever seeing this property on our radar. Well, right, this,
Okay, so continued, let's talk about what we're continuing to.
well, I'll pull up the calculation here real quick. Per state statutes, we were to push this to even the bare minimum, the 12th. It's only 16 days. February 12th, that's 16 times 150, $2,400. If we went to the 19th of March, the 51 times 150, 7,600,
Now, that's the kind of money it would take to,
hopefully.
so
send
now
a
I can
message
say you
there.
wanna pay us or you wanna fix this,
Right,
and I still have to fix it.
well, it's not to fix it anyway,
Yeah.
right, regardless,
So now I got more of a stick here,
right,
so let's continue it to that date,
that'd be March 19th.
1925. Okay, need notice. Oh, does anybody else need to talk on this?
Let's see. Let me bring this up here. Anybody want to,
You heard,
be heard? That's it, that's right, I'm looking for.
did I hear us?
Yeah, I think so, yep. I'm gonna work on that video thing, it's kinda odd, everything shows us working on our end, so it's kinda, might have to get IT down here.
All right, hearing none, we will move on.
Okay. Yeah, righty. So if we're gonna go right down the middle here. 318,
Wait a minute.
oh, sorry.
Okay, we're at 318.
Strawberry Hill.
And
This one does have, may I take that? Thank you.
getting there.
I'm taking those one, Want to revisit one we already did. Let's see. That here. Here, and this one's got many working parts, so I do apologize if the presentation's a little A little lengthy there. Nope, not that one. That one was on me, my fault. No. Did I just? I did. There we go. Beautiful.
They're all like brand new.
You know, we in December there, we sent out a lot of notices, so there's someone coming back around
Okay,
there, but having, as an aside, having Ian and Attorney Maslin help out now, it's really, we're pushing through. It's
okay.
really it's a good thing after all these years. So 318 Strawberry Hill.
Yep.
So the violations here, there's numerous ones. We have a occupancy without zoning approval and certificates for the tenant climate care, heating and air conditioning. We have temporary signage placed not in accordance with the regulations and the permitted duration for temporary signage. And parking within the front setback.
Okay.
So to go through the very basics here, October 30th, our principal planner and land use technician informed me of a property which had recently gotten a special permit use for an auto repair, a tire shop to be exact, that was severely out of compliance shortly after a temporary certificate was issued. So they got a temporary certificate to occupy. They still needed to do some other requirements of their permit. They had not done them yet. So our inspector, our land use tech, saw that there was an issue. And it turned out to be pretty bad. So I went out on inspections on November 7th, November 26th, and confirmed that there was non-compliance. There's an additional tenant with no permit. There was the signage and the parking in the front setback. I had a conversation with the principal planner and say our temporary certificates are good for typically 30 days is what we give. So, and then he also got in contact with the representative who made the application for the auto repair and warned them that a notice would be coming if they did not fix these issues. None of that happened. There was nothing, so sent a notice of violation to the owner of record on December 30th. That is in your packet, and we did get a green card back for that one. I know we did. Right? And then we had
I didn't see it, it just says it in the record somewhere.
it's in there, yep. It's in there. There we go. Okay. And so January 9th did a follow-up inspection and non-compliance continued, same conditions as in the November 7th and 26th inspection. Then on January 14th, which was again after the notice of violation, the property manager for the owner met with me in the office and assured that the tenant that did not have permits would apply immediately and the signage would be taken care of as soon as possible. The parking at that time, the parking could be addressed as part of the new tenant fit up. It'd be required that they would have to fix it prior to getting any sort of certificate. So on January 22nd, I sent a citation to the owner via constable, because we did not receive an application and the signage was still there. And we sent that via constable service. Constable Bondi served that on January 25th. That's an important date for me because on January 27th, we magically get an application for the new tenant. And then for the purpose of this meeting, went out on January 28th. And rather than seeing less signage, I saw more. And the tenant was still there and the parking was still there. So I am gonna make, say that we do have proper notice, because Constable Bondi service for today's meeting, and they do know about the, I do not have that on here.
Okay,
It's in there.
there it is.
There they are. Yep, I'm trying to thin out my, presentations
In
here.
the record,
There we go.
it's available.
Yep.
We'll come in and see it. Okay.
And all these here is I put on the, our little introductory sheet here, that the notices, citations and things like that are a matter of public record, so they can be witnessed, coming down to the office, or, I can send it to anybody via email.
Okay.
So, for the folks at home and, for the hearing officer as well. So this was an inspection which was done by our land, technician on October 3rd. And it showed signage with no permits, but no real occupancy at the moment. However, it was interesting that there was a sign for the current illegal tenant on the ground. October 7th, there was no signage, no temporary signage for the tenant anywhere to be found. However, on October 22nd, our inspector found a lot of signage. And there's two pictures worth of it here. Also, on the 22nd of October, our inspector found that sign that was on the ground back here on October 3rd was now in the window of the premises. So, just some pictures from my inspections. This was on November 11th. So this is coming up Westport Avenue, going towards Stu's coming from Westport. And you can see there's signage here, blade signs. Those are not for the gas station. Those are for the tenant in question here, the tire shop. They basically have taken over the entire corner. While I'm sure somebody at the management at the gas station is aware of this, the problem here is they're just putting the signage everywhere. And as you see, there's a lot of temporary signage. We have, a lot of banners and pennants. And also, again, signage for a tenant without permits. This is to November 26th. Not only do we have the sign in the window, we have a van, the service parked in the illegal parking in the front setback. And here's a second picture, just the whole. That's a lot of temporary signage, and we don't get that much. January 9th, this is coming down Strawberry Hill, looking towards the corner of Westport Avenue. And as you can see, it's kind of tight. I'll zoom in a little bit here.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yep. And here's a close-up, again, parking front setback, wash, rinse, and repeat. And lastly, these I took yesterday. Same thing, a lot of pennant signs, a lot of temporary signage here. The interesting thing this time, they've actually added a sign. This is a changeable copy sign. Those are strictly prohibited in Norwalk. Very exceptional circumstances you can get
That
that.
doesn't have. A violation noted against.
Oh, it does, that's considered temporary signage. And it's
Okay,
hanging, one of the criteria is that if it's hanging on a fence,
okay,
any, it could be any type of sign. And here's the fence.
okay.
And let's see, yeah, so I just took two pictures to show that it is changing, kind of, don't take videos too often. And again, and they added more down here, and they added a fourth pennant sign on around the corner. Again, here's the parking in the front setback, signage for a tenant, close up. So now, it's something interesting I did want to show, and it's in your packet. This little map here, interesting find, is from 1990. From the Department of Public Works, for when this building was first occupied by an auto repair. And it was to create the back parking lot, which is adjacent to Itoro. And in this here, and I'll just do a very quick zoom in. The requirement was new curb and sidewalk here. And bituminous curbing here and here with an opening of only 24 feet.
Mhm,
Obviously, that's not the case today.
mhm.
And that was supposed to have been done in 1990. And here was even a memo to the zoning board of appeals at the time. From Public Works, is from the transportation engineer. Saying that none of their requirements from that map had been done. So this is back to 1990. And so just as belts and suspenders, this was a temporary certificate that was issued for the tire shop. With the requirement, the condition being the parking spaces in the front must be removed. And here's the zoning approval for the tire shop. And here's, don't see these too often. These are this is a certificate of special permit for the tire shop. And A right here says that the 3 parking spaces in the front are not included in this approval. Interesting notation there. And this is the map that they are referring to in that certificate. So these guys, right, a matter of fact, they're into the road.
Yeah.
So here's the property line, the dotted line here.
Oh, jeez.
The building is in the road.
Oh, jeez.
So and the right of way. So obviously the building was built prior to, a lot of things. So while some of this is probably grandfathered, some, very little, it's probably grandfathered in. It's not, it's gotta go. So I'm looking for this to be upheld, to confirm.
All of these
Okay.
violations, all 1, 2, 3.
So the first 3 are a tenant without a zoning approval, or without applying for a zoning approval.
That's been cured.
Well, now they applied
Okay,
after the citation.
okay, but they still have violation.
Right, they still have not gotten it approved,
Okay,
and they don't have a certificate to be there.
okay,
Temporary signage and parking in the front setback. That's
okay,
fine.
so there's all 5.
Yeah.
5 violations. Found, all right? That's the first step. Now let me see a little. Continue to April. Why so long?
Well, the way I see this here is there's gonna need to be a little bit of a review because we just got the application in and their floor plan doesn't seem to indicate an office. It seems to indicate contractor storage. So we have to go over it because if it's a contractor, if we deem it contractor storage,
Mhm,
they may not be able to get a permit anyway.
okay,
And then 2, to be honest, they really, the parking in the front, even if they got rid of it, they can't landscape it now. So it's gonna be at least a month or even 2 to get that
Okay.
done. And lastly, the only part of the signage really should be gone
overnight.
tomorrow, yeah, exactly. So that's the one where if we wanted to see where this stood in a month, we could bring it back in a month to see if the signage is done.
And signage is not
I
an
mean,
issue, that can be cured easily, right?
Yeah.
It's not harming anybody really, right?
no, it just absolutely looks awful.
Well, I don't see anybody here to complain.
That's fair, yeah, no, this is an internal, complaint that was found by our inspector, so.
Okay, so he can wait. All right, so let's continue this. No fine at this time. Continued to April 16th, March 16th, 25. For hearing all 5 violations. That's what I'd like to see. Let's see what happens. Okay, there's not even a continued fine I can put on this thing.
No, I think the fine in April would be upwards of, I think upwards like,
12,000.
yeah, $12,000, so that
Yeah.
should get them,
So that'll be good.
Yeah.
Name notice. Okay, that's all we can do. Supposed to sign.
yeah, sign out, fill out the rest of that. Normally doesn't go like that, but there's a lot of violations there, so
Yeah, well,
need the extra page.
good. All right, it's that one.
Alrighty.
This one. This one.
Take that, yeah, only one more.
Okay,
And this one, I may have
13 hours.
alluded to at the beginning, is a, very, very easy one.
Okay,
And this was the one I knew that, he was not gonna be here. There, so, thank you. Okay. Screen? All right, this is the shortest presentation I've ever had. Last time we were here this is the only repeat on the agenda today. The last time we were here was, 2 weeks ago on the 15th. And, the requirement was that, the owner's son, the owners are in Florida. They, a little bit older, they can't make it up and back, so they're having their son take care of this. And he was here last time,
okay,
and it was just, we had a hard time connecting on a, meetup to discuss how to resolve the violation. A violation is an illegal unit, and it is still occupied. However, the fire marshal and health department said that it is safe. It's a zoning, it's an illegal apartment per zone. It's in a 2-family zone, and, I have the documentation here, the current owners were told 15 years ago that this could not be a 3-family. They had an illegal attic apartment and had to remove it. So it came back over time. So anyway, long story short, for in the here and now, we did have a meetup, on Monday, the 27th. He called in and, we had a solid half-hour conversation about everything. And, he also sent me an email, which is in your, packet, that he, confirms that he understands what needs to be done. And in his email, he said he should have the application in, because we do need floor plans. So he should have the application in by the end of February.
What is he applying for? A three-family or?
Revert it to a two, he has to remove the attic unit.
Okay,
He's out of town between, maybe just for next week. So he said he should have, plans drawn and submitted, by the end of February. My quote to him was, well, we'll give you a little extra time, have it all done, have the work done, have it reverted to a two family, sorry.
yeah, I remember he said he was gonna take care of it.
Yep.
Continued to April 16. Notice. So we won't fine him, we'll wait till that big number.
Yeah, it would be $23,000 and giving him till April. He doesn't have to remove walls. He doesn't have to, all he has to do is basically remove appliances and change two locks. So it really isn't that difficult. The only X factor is, does any of the removal of the appliances trigger anything with the building department? We won't know that until they go down there, yeah.
Okay, so violation found, needs to revert to a two-family, continue to April 16th, need notice, no fine at this time.
23,000, that's what would be in April, so hopefully he does,
Are you gonna put that in your letter to him?
I'll put that, yep. And I actually do have his email address as well, so I'm gonna give him a scanned copy of this. And I think we are all set.
Everybody's here, everybody's left.
Everybody, there's
Family
no,
club that went out drinking.
so just so everybody out there, is aware, we have our next hearings with, Attorney Overs and myself, on February 12th. We also have hearings on the, March 19th and April 16th.
Let me check those two.
Okay, yep,
February 12th. Yeah, I got you there.
okay, March 19th, we just did that one today, so hopefully it's still in there.
Oh, yeah, March 19th. No, it's not in there.
Oh, okay,
3 o'clock. Now it's in here. Next one.
April 16th.
Well, hold on, that was March 9th. Yeah, I had it in there. I was looking online.
Fair enough.
Oh, give me a second. You take it. February 19th. February 19th, we don't have it.
Correct.
All right, I'm just gonna show it. Okay, February, March, April is the next one.
April 16th.
April 16th, got that one.
That's all we got.
Okay,
And, for folks at home, Ian has his next hearings on, I believe, February 26th with Attorney Matt.
okay.
And until then, have a good night, everybody. Take care.